Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This time we are on another OP-13 leader, Red Blue Ace. Now if you've seen my past videos, a lot of you know that I do have a thing against this leader. I don't like it that much. I think it is brain dead, more brain dead than playing Emu, in all honesty. And my gameplay just proves it, to be honest, because all I did was record 3 or 4 straight games, and that's exactly what I'm showing you. That just goes to show that this deck actually does carry the person, and unlike what a lot of OPTCG YouTubers think about Emu, you know what I mean? That's what this deck does. It just boosts the player. So it's really skillless and brain dead. But enough of that. Let's just get right into this leader, OP-13 Portgas D Ace. For those of you who don't know what the leader does, it's a 3-life leader. And on your opponent's attack once per turn, you can trash a card from your hand and you give one of your opponent's leader or characters minus 2000 power just during the battle. And if you have a Dawn attached once per turn, when you receive damage or a character with 6000 base power or more is KO'd, you can draw a card. So it's a pretty simple leader ability, right? But it's very powerful, and along with the cards that you run in this deck make it more powerful than it's supposed to be, I think. The leader in itself, it's not like UP Luffy, where UP Luffy's ability is just amazing. It's the cards that make this deck, the other cards, not the leader, I mean. So let's get right into the deck list. So first up we have our searcher. It's the OP-13 searcher, Monkey D Garp. 1 cost. On play, if your leader is Monkey D, Luffy, Sabo, or Ace, you look at the 4 cards from the top of your deck and you reveal 1 card with cost of 3 or more and add it to your hand. So really good searcher, honestly. I wouldn't mind testing this searcher out in other decks. I just don't know what they would be, because it does just search any 3 cost or more. So amazing searcher, I think. Next up we have our first 2K of the deck. It's going to be Thatch. Now this is a Whitebeard's Pirates type. Its on play is if your leader has Whitebeard Pirates included in its type, you give one of your opponent's characters minus 2000 power for the turn. Then you put the top card of your life into your hand. Now because we're at 3 life, right, this is mainly used as a 2K counter, and that's why we're only running 2 of them. Next up we have our second 2K counter of the deck. It's the Uta blocker from SD23 from the Shanks deck. It's 6 cost, 4000 power. This ability is if you have a character with 10,000 power or more, you can give minus 4 cost to it, so essentially it becomes a 2 cost blocker, right? And it's a 2K, so really good card all around. I know in the Roger video we run a couple of these, and I think we upped that to 4 maybe because of how good this card is. So next up we have the Goldie Roger Rush. You run 2 of those. It's the 10 cost 13,000. When someone's at 0 life, no one can activate a blocker, right? So it's really just for those final lethal swings when you bring this out. That's why we only run 2 of those. It is searchable with the Garp. Almost every single leader that has red in it is running this card, as you guys notice, and it's because blockers are off the chains, right? So you got like this 10 cost Newgate blocker, you got the Emu blockers, you've got the Bonnie has decent blockers, Stucci, but that's about it, I think. And then also red green Luffy does have some blockers too. 10 cost Roger just helps go around that. On to our third 2K counter. Yeah, right, first, second, third. We're on our third 2K counter, and that's the OP-13 Otama. It's on play. If you have 3 or less life cards, you draw 2 cards and trash 1. So really good to cycle out some cards, right? Next up we have our second searcher of the deck. It's the 1 cost Izo from SD22. It has 1000 counter, and on play, you look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal a Whitebeard Pirates type, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest on the bottom. And when your opponent attacks, you can trash a character, draw 1 card, and place a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. So another good way to cycle cards in and out, right? Next up, we have our 4 cost Pudding. Really good. We only run 2 of those, just like we only run 2 of the Rogers. Obviously, everyone knows what this card does. It's a staple, right? Just like Red Rock is. It's a 4 cost, 4000 power Charlotte Pudding. On play, opponent returns all of their hand cards to their deck and shuffles. Then your opponent draws 5 cards. Really good. We get to utilize this pudding really well in some of the games that I have for you today. So next up is the 4-cost 5,000 power Atmos. It's also a Whitebeard Pirates type. It has 1,000 counter, and its on play is you reveal 2 cards with a Whitebeard Pirates type from your hand, and if your leader has Whitebeard Pirates type, which Ace is of course, you return one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less, and it goes to their hand. So it's kind of like a Jozu, but you have to reveal 2 cards instead of returning one of your own, right? Next up, we're running 1 Cavendish in this deck. Now the 1 Cavendish I assume is just to cycle cards also better. It's a 4-cost 6,000 power, no counter. When attacking once per turn, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Pretty simple. Next up we have our blocker. Our second blocker of the deck, it's the 4-cost 6,000 power Marco from PRB2. It's a blocker, of course, and on KO, you draw 2 cards. So really good to gain more cards in your hand, right? Also, we're all around a great blocker, 4-cost 6,000 power, so can't complain. Next up, we have our Yamato. It's the 5-cost 6,000 power from OP-13 with 1,000 counter, and its on play is if you have 3 or less life cards, you draw 2. And you give 1 rested Dawn to your leader, so that way you can use your leader ability for free instead of having to spend an active Dawn. So next up we have our Jozu, the Whitebeard Pirates, 6-cost 7,000 power, 1k counter. On play, return one of your characters, and you can return one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters to their hand. Essentially, right, you could return 2 characters of yours if you wanted to, like 2 2Ks that you have on the board, or a searcher and a 2K. It's mainly, to try to maybe control the board a bit early on before you're able to bring out your bigger bodies. So really good card, searchable, real nice. Next up we have our 6-cost 7,000 power Port Gas Ace. It's the SEC card, secret rare card in OP-13, and its ability is if you have 3 or less life cards, the character gains rush. On play, give 1 rested Dawn card to your leader. Then you can return one of their 5-cost or lower characters, but they're also able to play out another 4-cost or lower from their hand. So it's like, I guess you're trading a 5-cost for something cheaper, right? I guess that does, it's a decent card, but that's why we're only running 1 of them. I don't really see it being that good in this deck. I think you could just drop one of these for like another Jozu or, because it doesn't have counter on it. Now that I'm thinking about it, this could also be a really good card in Boa, in a Boa deck. I have to revisit Boa again, I think, because she receives so much, not direct support, but like support in PRB2 and in OP-13 that kind of helps her out a lot, right? So I'll save that for another video. I'll maybe talk about that in another video. If you're interested in another Boa video, comment down below and let me know. But let's go on to our big bodies now. It's first up we have the 10-cost 12,000 power Tax Gate. Okay, its on play is if your leader has the Whitebeard Pirates type and you have 2 or less life cards, until the end of your opponent's next turn, they can't attack without discarding 2 cards from their hand. Their leader can attack, but none of their characters can attack unless they pay 2 cards. Taxbeard, it's you chain these together on an emu, they're done for, right? Because they can't attack with their 7,000 power bodies at all, and they're just done. So that's why this deck is way better than Emu, is way better than Roger. It's way better than any OP-13 deck or any deck out there, right? Next up, we have the 10-cost 12,000 power Edward Newgate. This is the blocker gate, right? Its on play is draw 2 cards and trash 1. Then give your leader and one of your characters 2 Rusted Dawn each. So really good card, really good all-around blocker. Kind of reminds me back in like when OP-09 came out, when we got the 10-cost Teach, right? 10-cost blocker Teach. Everyone was wilding out about that, and everyone's wilding out about this too. I wouldn't per se wild out about this card specifically in this deck, just because you can play around blockers. That's not the issue, and that's not why I think this deck is so brain dead. It's the tax gate that's the problem, I personally think. And it's you chain these, and I've had games where I've chained these, and it's like, what's the opponent supposed to do? You've developed 2 12k bodies. They can't attack at all except for leader. You play a blocker the next turn, then you swing twice with 12. Like, It's just insane. If you notice on the bottom right of this card, it's in block 2, so this card's going to be around for a while. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there was maybe a limit to add on a deck, like if we ever get bans again. And personally, I do not think there should be any bans. I think they should have never banned any cards, although RP law is a good argument, right? They shouldn't have made that leader. But I think for a game to be healthy, there shouldn't be any bans. But if they do, like, it's got to be played smart. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was a limit to how much you can put in a deck like this. But I may be wrong too. You know, I'm open to the idea that I'm wrong, and this deck is just, you know, on par with every other OP-13 leader. But as of right now, I personally don't think that it is. I think this deck is a brain dead, lets you win easy. Okay. Anyways, let's go on to our event counters. First up, we have the Radical Beam. It's a Straw Hat Crew type. It's 1 cost. Everyone knows this counter. Your leader or one of your characters gains plus 2,000, and if you have 2 or less life, it gains an additional 2,000. Okay, and the trigger on it is your leader or one of your characters gets an additional plus 2,000 power for the turn, right? So sorry about that. Next up, our second event is going to be the 6 cost Gum Gum Red Rock. Its main is you place a character on the bottom of the deck, of the owner's deck, right? And the trigger is place 1 character with a cost of 4 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So it's a really good card for blue, and it's expected to be run, especially in this, when you're going up against like Roger or someone who also top ends, like is better in the late game, right? Because they have more top end cards. The Mirror too, for example. It's really nice to have. Maybe you can up this to 1 or 2, like get rid of the ace and get 1 or 2 of them just so you can see it more often. But it is searchable with the Garp. Anyways, we go on to our last event, and that is the I Am Whitebeard event. This is from Starter 22. Now, this is also one of the cards that I think, you know, it's not crazy. What it does is not crazy. It just lets you play a 10 cost beard out earlier than usual. And that's fine, I think. You know, there's nothing to complain much about the other cards. Like I said a while ago, I just think this tax gate is the issue. But let's go on and read the main. If your leader has the Whitebeard Pirates type, you can play an Edward Newgate from your hand. You may add the top or bottom card of your life cards into your hand, and if you did, you get plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's kind of like the promo Roger, right? Or who else does that, where it gives you, or the Whitebeard, nine beard, right? So 9 beard, for those of you who don't know, it's a red card. It gives you plus 2,000 power for, you know, until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's kind of like that, but you have to take a life. Anyways, this is the deck list for Red Blue Ace, and you know, I don't want to explain any further. It's pretty self-explanatory how to play this deck, right? You play out your blockers early, you do your searches, you play your blockers, you try to control the board with Jozu and Atmos and cycle your hand to where you have decent enough counters in your hand, and you block out early on your opponent's attacks just so you can save on your life. It's fine to stay at 2 life, but if you go any lower than that till the late game, then you're kind of in trouble. So you just got to play it safe until then. And once you get to the late game, you just bring out your 10 cost bodies. So you chain these tax gates and these blocker gates one by one. That's essentially what this deck does. It's kind of like in the same sense what Emu does, where you just wait till you get your 10 cost elders and then play it out that way too. So anyways, let's get right into the gameplay. Okay everyone, I have our first match here. It is up against Red Purple Roger. Now Red Purple Roger also does really great into the late game. This is a fairly quick match if you guys didn't notice, and you'll see why. So let's get right into it. I think we choose to go second here because we have a better curve on second, because we have a lot of 2, 4, 6 costs that we can play out, and then when we get to 8 costs we can play a Whitebeard, right? So we have a 10 cost body out way quicker than when the opponent does. So we play the Otama to draw 2 trash 1 to cycle our cards, and we attach 1. Notice we attach 1 to our leader just because if we do take this, and I think we kind of do, then we are able to draw an extra card. And we do take it, and we get the Gum Gum Red Rock. Now we're on our 4 Dawn turn. I think here we play out the Marco and then swing it to them for 6. They take, we pass it back over to them. They're on their 5 Dawn now. They attach the rest of their Dawn and swing into us. So I think we kind of can block out of this with a Marco just so we get more cards in hand. Yep, and then we get our first 10 cost new gate. All right, next up we do a search real quick. We get the pudding just because you can see their hand size, and we hit them with a pudding just because there's nothing else really that I kind of wanted to play out. We could have played the Atmos. We could have played, I don't know, a couple more searchers, but I think using pudding on them this early is kind of just for fun, right? So we swing, they take. We should have swung first, honestly, and then do the pudding, but you do what you can. Next up, they play out their Scopper Gaban to be able to ramp up one. And so they're closer to 10 now. They swing into us. Now they're at 9 Dawn, I'm pretty sure. They swing into us for 6. We counter out with one of our searchers. They pass it back over. Here, we play out the Jozu to bring our pudding back so we can use it again later and bring their Gaban back to their hand. Okay, so they lose body. They lose a body on board. Go ahead and do that. Play out a searcher. We get a 2k counter. Swing into them for 7. And then pass it back over to them. Really good turn. Now our opponent is on 10 Dawn. They play the 8 cost Roger out, attach the rest of their Dawn to their leader. Now they're a 9k plus 2 Dawn. That's 11. They swing at us for 11. I think we counter out of this, right? Yeah. So we use our leader ability and 2 2ks. Perfect. We can't swing into them for 7. So now I think we red rock the Roger here just so we still have control of the board. And that's exactly what we do. And then I think we play out the blocker. Yeah, that pudding's completely fine too. They had another 7 cards in there, 8 cards in their hand, so now they're back to 5 again. That's perfectly fine. You know, they swing into us for 7. We counter out of that. They pass it back over to us. We swing for 7 at their leader. I think they, yep, counter out, bring out a tax gate, and we can't attack anymore, so we pass it back over. Now they can't attack with a Katakuri at all. They play out another Katakuri here, attach the rest of their Dawn, swing into our Jozu. We let it go. We're not going to defend out of that. No need to. And now we have our Otama to be, we play out our Otama, sorry, to be able to cycle out our cards. And there we go. We get our 10 gates, the blocker ones. So we use the 8 cost event to bring out the 10 beard blocker. We go ahead and do that. Attach 2 Dawn to our leader and character. We can't attack with the pudding, unfortunately, but we attach 1 Dawn to be able to. We swing for 7, they counter with a 2k. We swing for 8, they counter with another 2k. We swing for 12 this time, and they take. So they're at 1 life left. Now, I don't know if this player just didn't know that we run Roger nowadays, like Red Blue Ace runs Roger, but, you know, I think he shouldn't have taken his life too early, which you'll see in this upcoming turn. And I think it was only because he ran out of counter, right? So he swings into us with 8. We take. He swings into us for 8 again. Now, here, we're thinking we might as well take this because we do have the Roger in our hand already, and we can just swing for game next turn because he only has 4 cards in hand, right? So we go ahead, take this last one, so we're at 0 life. We can counter out of this attack. If he would have gone all in, we could have just blocked with the blocker new gate anyway, so counter out of this attack, of course, leader ability and a 1k. He brings out a blocker, okay, and then I think he plays something else out. No, he just passes it back to us. We play out the Roger. It's over, GG. We swing for 10, and he just leaves. So he couldn't have countered out of any of our attacks anyways. GG to our opponent. I don't know why he was playing this route of playing the Katakuri and whatnot. He should have just kept rushing us down, I think, but it's a hard matchup against this Red Blue Ace. Like I said, it's a crazy deck. Anyways, GG to our opponent. I'll see you in the next game. Okay, everyone, we are in our second match here. It is against Emu. Now, Emu, like we were saying at the beginning of the video, everyone thought is a big bad, but I'm telling you right now, it's really easy to go against Emu. Okay, it's so easy to work around his characters, and especially with this deck, with this Red Blue Ace, it makes it way easier than it's supposed to be. So we take second, we mulligan that hand because it was all a bunch of 6 costs and whatnot. We didn't have any early game plays, but now we have a couple 2Ks, Radical Beam, we got our tax gate, and we got the 8 cost event, so perfect. We play out the Otama for sure, so we can cycle cards in our hand. So we pass it back over to the Emu. We should have used the Otama, in all honesty. I don't know why we didn't, just so we could cycle out our cards. Because we didn't have any turn 2 or turn 3 plays, except for the Marco now that we drew into it. But he attacks into us, we counter out, we play out the Marco, swing for 6, he counters out also. We pass it back over to him, he swings at us for 6, we just take, so we're at 2 life. We have another blocker, 4 cost blocker from life. He plays out a searcher, he searches up the Jupiter, passes it back to us. We do a search with the Garp, we get the ace I think, right? Or maybe a Marco. I don't see us using the ace at all. Yeah, we take the Marco for sure. Attach 1, swing for 7. They counter out again with an event. We swing for 6 this time because we have 2 blockers on board. Why not? They take, they're at 3 life. Okay. Next up is our 8 dawn turn. So we can play out that event to bring out the tax gate or another different. There we go, the blocker gate. I wouldn't play the tax gate just yet just because they don't have a lot of bodies on board, right? So they swing into us. We counter out. They swing into us again. We counter out with a 2k. We use the 8 cost event to bring out our blocker. Attach 2 Dawn, right? Trash 1 card, then attach 2 Dawn each. So we swing with the Marco first to get rid of a body on their board. They take. We swing 8 again. They take. They're at 2 life now. Pass it back over to them. And we have a big blocker on board. Next turn, we can play out the tax gate if they do decide to cycle, which they don't. You know, they're on their 9 Dawn turn, so they can't really play out any big Celestial Dragon card yet. They go ahead and play out another blocker to KO our Marco. We draw 2 again. Cool. That's fine. They attack 6k into us. We counter out with the Jozu. 7k. They pass it back to us. I think here we do play out the tax gate maybe. No. I think maybe we use the 4 cost Atmos to bring back their blocker, because we do have 2 Whitebeard cards in hand. So we do deploy it, show the 2 Whitebeard cards, return their 1 blocker so they only have 2 left and they have to spend more resources next turn to bring it out again if they want to. Play out the Yamato, attach a rest to Dawn. We have 1 more Dawn left. I think we attach the rest and swing for 7. They counter out with an event. That's perfectly fine. We pass it back over to them. Now here they're able to cycle out now, and I think that's exactly what they do after attacking us with their blockers. So they swing for 6. Counter out with a pudding, just because we know they're not going to go up in hand size, because I think they know we're playing a pudding and they don't want to risk it. So they swing for 6 again. We counter out again. They swing for 6 one more time. I think we counter out of this one too, or block. Counter out, yep. Cool, because we know they have a Nizduro coming to be able to rush into us. So they do play out the 5 Elders. Perfectly fine. Swing into us for 7. We block this one, of course. They KO our Yamato with their, you know, Mars. Swing for 10. I think we block and then counter out. Yep, perfect. They pass it back to us. We play out the 8 costs and play out the tax gate so they can't attack with any of their characters next turn. Look at that. They have to play 2 cards. They have 3 cards in hand, but they can't attack with any other characters next turn. Pretty decent. So we swing 5 at them. I think they block out of this. Yep. Swing 6, 7. They let this go. And then we swing. I don't think we swing. I think we keep this. Yeah, there's no need to swing. Might as well be safe because we can go at them later. They play out another 10 cost Elders and bring them out again. Too bad we don't have another 10 gate tax gate here, but that's fine. So they KO our Atmos. Cool. They swing at us for 6 and swing at us for 7. And I think we take this because we do have the 10 cost Roger. We do end up countering out of this. I think another good play would have been to just take both life, because they would have attacked with the Nizduro anyways, and we could have just swung for game with the Roger. They couldn't have blocked out of all of that anyways. So yep, we block 2k counter. Perfect. We play out the Yamato and the Marco here. I think that's the safe bet. Yep, bring out a blocker. Bring out the Yamato, attach 1 rested, swing into the Nizduro. They block out. No, they counter out. Cool. We swing 12 at that leader and they block out. So we pass it back over to them. We have 2 blockers left and a bunch of bodies on board we can swing with next turn. They run out of the 10 cost Elders here, I think, and that's why they're searching real hard for their next one. And they just end up playing out another blocker, I'm pretty sure. So they rest the stage, they play out another blocker. Yep, KO our Marco. We draw 2 more cards with the Marco. We have Radical Beam in hand and 1 Dawn, so perfect for us. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks left. So 7, we counter out. We use our leader ability, to counter out. They swing for 8 this time. That's cool. We have the radical beam, but we also can block. So we do use the radical beam here. I think we take this, right? No, we do counter out 2k and a 1k. They attack again. We block. See, I would have been more okay with taking that from our life so we can Goldie Roger. They attack us again, right? And now we play out another tax gate. See what I mean? So with all of that happened, we used the 8 cost event again to leave 2 Dawn up, one for our radical beam and one to attach to our leader, and we were able to play the tax gate out so they can't attack at all next turn. Sucks, but we swing 6 first at their leader. They counter out, we swing 7. I think they counter out of this, right? Or block? No, they do take. Swing at the Jupiter. Yeah, you swing at the Jupiter so the 7,000 power for all their elders is gone, right? You always want to try to get rid of that body first, but they block out of that. We swing into the Jupiter again. They get rid of it. Pass it back over. They only have 1 attack, which is their leader, unless they have the rush that they can bring out on top of the 10 cost elders, and they just about give up here. So GG to our opponent. It would have been over next turn anyways. They couldn't really do anything else. So you can see how crazy it is when you start to chain these 10 tax gates, right? I just think that that's the way to go against this leader Emu, is to chain play those tax gates so they can't attack at all with any of their bodies, and it sucks when you're on the Emu side. But it was a good game, so can't complain. We'll go into the last game I have for you today. Okay, everyone, we are in our last game here. It's the mirror. Thought I'd show off the mirror game and how to win that. Essentially, you want to take second, right? That's the best curve for you. So we are able to take second from them. They deploy out the Ezo to do a search. They get the 8 cost event, and we also get the 8 cost event and play out a searcher from our searcher, then play out another searcher to get, I'd say, the 10 gate, but we can take the blocker too, that's fine. The tax gate would have been okay to get there, but really they don't have a lot of crazy bodies that they can just keep pouring out, right? So the blocker gate is fine too. So they attach 2 Dawn, they swing into us. We use the Ezo's ability. We take, we're at 2 life, that's fine. We're on our 4 Dawn turn. I think we just attach all and then swing into them. They take this for sure. Also because, you know, they're comfortable taking it because we're at 2 life too. So perfect. We each have a bunch of cards in hand. So whoever gets to pudding, right, can mess up the other person's plans. They play out the Yamato, attach arrested, swing into us for 7. We counter out of this with one of our Marcos in hand with the leader ability, right? So now we're on our 6 Dawn turn. We play out the Yamato to attach a rested Dawn. We attach the rest of the Dawn to Ace and swing for 8 at them. They counter out of this. Sorry about that. We swing into them for 8. They counter out of this for sure. Okay. Nope. They end up taking also. So they have so many cards in hand. I'm surprised they didn't take that. I think that's their downfall here, is they so liberally took life when we were attacking them. Maybe they didn't have counter, but I doubt that. He could have used his leader ability, of course. So anyways, get right into this. We wait for him, see what he's gonna do. I think he takes a while here. This is that game where I think the ace was thinking too hard. He goes ahead and swings into us. Actually, let me go back a bit, sorry. He swings at us for 6. We counter out with the Yamato. He attaches a Dawn to his Yamato to swing at us for 7. He does. I think we use our leader ability here, no? Or we just give a regular 2k, okay. Perfectly fine too. I think they play out a Marco blocker here. Yep, along with another search. That gets them a 10 cost gate, I think. We play out the 8 cost event because we're on our 8 Dawn turn, and we're the first one to play out a 10 cost Whitebeard blocker. And I think that's also what makes or breaks the game in the mirror, is whoever is able to drop their 10 cost first, and being on the even curve allows you to do that. So we trash 1 card, attach 2 rested Dawn each, swing for 8. They should counter out of this. They block, draw 2 more cards. They're not afraid of a pudding. Swing 8 again. They should counter out of this. No reason to go to 0 life. We each run a Roger, so he should know. Counters out, uses his leader ability, and then gives us a 1k. We pass it over to them. We kind of have the same board here, except he has another searcher more than I do. 1 more searcher than I do. So he goes ahead and uses the 8 cost event 2 on his 9 Dawn turn to bring out the 10 cost blocker gate. Now we each have one big body on board. He's at 1 life though, I'm at 2. He does have a bunch more cards in hand though, more than I do. So he attaches 2 rested, same thing that I did, swings for 8 into the Yamato. I'm sure he's just trying to get rid of bodies on board, and I think we save that. There's no reason we shouldn't, just because we have so much counter in hand, and we're like a life up on them. Let's go ahead, skip a bit. So they do attack 9 into the Yamato, and we block with the Whitebeard, and they swing 8 into it again, so we use the leader ability here, right? Or is it a 2k, 1k? Yeah, 2k, 1k. Either would have been fine, it's the same thing. They pass it back to us. We have another new gate blocker here. We play that out for sure, and we get the tax gate, right? So we trash 1, attach 2 rested to our leader and one of our characters, swing for 8. They counter out of this one. They use their leader ability to counter out. Cool, give us a 2k and a 1k, then we swing for 8 again. They counter out of this, or I think they block this maybe? No, they counter out of this. And then when we swing with the 12k new gate, that's when they block out of it and give us a 1k counter. So they counter out of this one. We swing for 12. I think leader's perfectly fine. Just apply pressure so that they lose cards in hand. We're not worried about what's on his board because we're a step ahead of him. He blocks out of this with the 10 cost beard. Exactly, and gives us a 1k counter. Cool. Pass it back over to him. He ends up using the 8 cost event to bring out his tax gate, so now I can't attack with any of my bodies unless I pay 2. Does that, attaches 2 Dawn to his leader, I'm pretty sure, to attack into us. So he uses the Yamato to swing at 6 for 6 at us, and we just counter out of that. So he has 2 more attacks left, one from his leader and one from the tax gate, not the tax gate, sorry, the blocker gate. He swings 8 at our leader, so we take that. We're at 1 life now. That's perfectly fine. We have a whole bunch of 2Ks and a radical beam, so we're set up. They pass it back to us. We use our tax gate this time, and then I think we just swing 6 and see what happens. I think they counter out of this easy with their leader ability, right? Perfect. And we pass it back. Now they can't attack with their bodies. You see how boring this matchup is? You're talking about Emu versus Emu being boring? Please, look at this. This is just as boring, if not more. It's crazy to me that people complain about Emu when this deck is here. Anyways, they use the 8 cost event, bring out another blocker. You guys are starting to see the process here, right? And how you play this deck. Talk about being small-brained. That's why I'm only showing you guys 3 matches, and I think this is a fairly short video in comparison to all my other OP-13 leader ones. I just had no fun playing this deck, just 0 fun. You didn't need to use your brain. They attach 4, swing at us for 10. Okay, I think we just block out of this, right? It's a 10k. It's a 10k. We counter out, huh? So we do counter out. We use our leader ability to make them less. We should have just not wasted a card and just used the blocker, right? I just don't think we were thinking about it that well. So that's fine. You know, we attack 12 into them, see what they do. They take, I think, in this situation. I think that's what they ended up doing. Yep, they took their last health. We putting them. Now they have 5 cards in hand. Cool. We swing 12. Or actually, we attach the rest of our Dawn to leader and leave 1 open for Radical Beam. See what they do. So that's 11 at their leader. And I think they block out of this, right? Yeah, they do. So that tells me a little something. What we should have done is swing for 7. Yeah, I think that is what we do. Perfect. We swing for 7 and see if they counter out so that they can waste their leader ability or more cards in hand. And that's exactly what they end up doing. This is on 2 times speed, by the way, so you can see how slow this player is. They're at 2 minutes 50 seconds left and I'm at 12 minutes. Crazy. Crazy. It doesn't take a lot of brain cells to play this deck, bud. It really doesn't. But maybe it was his first time. I can't really knock a person for playing the deck for the first time. So we swing 12. But also, this was my first time playing this deck. Really, it really was. These first 3 matches, those were like my 5th, 6th, 7th match using this deck. And that's why I was saying in the beginning how easy this deck is. It just carries the person. You don't have to think that much. Swing for 12. They end up blocking out of this one because they can't counter. They block and then use a 1k, I think, which is such a waste, and we just swing for game. And that's GG to our opponent. They couldn't have countered out if they wanted to. But that's basically the mirror. You can see how boring that was, just like watching Emu versus Emu. That's kind of boring too. Today's a very quick video. It's not that long, just the 3 matches against other OP-13 leaders, right? Just to show you what Red Blue Ace can do. If you end up liking the deck, like, I mean, don't feel like I'm hating on you or anything like that. It's in my situation, I just don't like playing against it because it's not fun, just like playing against Emu is not fun, right? So, but play whatever deck you want and whatever makes you happy. So, all in all, great game to our mirror match here. Whoever he was, he took a while, but still great game. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't think I'm ever gonna play Red Blue Ace again, not even just like for fun on the sim. I just don't find it that fun, like I've been saying all throughout. It is what it is with this leader, and so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Sorry if I complained a little bit too much at the beginning and even throughout the games, but that's just honestly how I feel about this leader. I'm not willing to continue to play it just for fun when I'm not recording. But I will catch you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe. See you in the next one.